Okay, IT committee, December 9th, 2021, 9:35. Amanda, could you call the roll?
McTaggart?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Hughes?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes. Call the meeting to order. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Michael, seconded by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public comments?
I guess I'd like to comment and say this is probably the last meeting of this committee as such. I think you guys all heard the announcement I made at finance, what we're going to be proposing next Tuesday, so. I think something will work out okay.
We're all in the same meetings anyway.
Right, and there are certain times of the year when we have some business that's significant here, but generally speaking, it's something that I think can be handled at the finance committee without any, just another item on the agenda. I guess you're the one that it'll affect the most,
So, no more IT committee meetings?
so.
They're gonna be combined
I-
with finance, so they'll just be other, your.
Yeah.
Michael Tabor will be on the finance agenda.
That means less trips to the airport, no?
It just means coming in.
You gotta be here earlier.
Instead of 9 o'clock.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Finance starts at 9 o'clock, and I'm not sure where you'll fit in on the agenda, but.
So, if we're incorporating in the finance, I'm assuming it'll be less chit chat about IT. It's just more about the purchasing for IT.
Well, just a general IT update and
Okay,
of
it'll
course,
still be the
costs are-
same thing.
Yeah, costs are always
Okay.
included, but.
Okay, same thing, just incorporated into another meeting.
Right, I think,
Yeah.
the items that we got here, the meat of it is your presentations and stuff, so
Yep.
that's still gonna be the case.
Sounds good to me.
It's just a matter of, instead of having two separate committees, and,
Mm-hmm.
we're consuming
Two separate
10,
meetings.
15 minutes that we otherwise don't need to.
Mhm.
Just another meeting on the agenda or whatever, so. Just trying to streamline things a little bit in anticipation a year from now when we'll be reducing from 20 members down to 16 on the board. And
Sounds good.
gives us a chance to make any adjustments or see how everything's gonna work, and I think we've got a better opportunity to do that the coming year rather than waiting until we go to 16 and
Mhm.
that way they can avoid confusion, misunderstanding,
Yeah.
fist fights and so forth.
That's always a good thing. Well, that sounds good. So it'll be IT/finance meeting.
Right.
Cool. Sounds good.
So,
9 o'clock. Whew. All right. I can do that. I'm an early bird.
we'll have to get to bed earlier.
That's right.
Okay, Michael.
All right. The big elephant in the room is the phone system. Reuter updated us that it's not done yet, so that's the bad news. The good news is it should be getting switched over in the next couple weeks. So,
Should be.
Yeah, he ran into some issues with the SIP trunk lines and he's working with AT&T on getting those resolved.
So the equipment's in and it functions, it's just that AT&T hasn't ported the numbers over?
they are going to, the phones aren't in yet, but he didn't say specifically, but I'm assuming he was waiting for the SIP part to be done. But now that the SIP part's going to be scheduled here shortly, they're also scheduling the installation of the phones as well. So that's all going to come down the pipe here, according to Reuter, in 1 to 2 weeks. So.
He's hoping by
Are we
next.
saying that we're today at the same point that we were a month ago when we had this meeting?
About 2 months ago, I'd say. But yeah,
No, we've made progress.
Well,
We
yeah,
switched
there's
over
progress.
4 of the AT&T bill SIP lines and POTS lines, right?
oh, he
Anyway,
did switch a couple?
He's got 4 of them. He's just working on the last one, and it's
Okay.
given him some difficulty. So he has made progress. It's just a matter of finishing it up. Which he had said to me, the report for next month. He's hoping to say everything's done and completed. So.
Yep.
So how long have we been at the higher rate? Since October 8th?
Since October 8th, but the bills really haven't been crazy. They've been about 1,000 more versus
We were talking
5 to
2,000
6, yeah,
more,
or
right?
anything higher than that.
Because
they have not
AT&T doesn't know what they're doing.
It's because I've been telling everybody not to make any more phone calls.
Be-
Absolutely
be-
Ceasing
important,
communication.
right?
Well,
Use
because,
that email.
because one of the things is it's charged per minute right
Yeah,
now,
exactly,
which
exactly.
it won't be with the new
Mhm.
service.
Mhm. And it's been kind of, you know, like I said, knock on wood, it's been,
Well, that helps.
other than that darn animal control.
All right, other things I've mentioned is there's been a couple renewals for services and software. Notably, the host servers, those haven't been renewed in the past because they were purchased 5 years ago, so they are hitting their 5-year birthday coming up in January or February, so that's of note. Those aren't due for replacement next year or the following years, but
That's the Dell
that's the
renewal for
Power Edge.
1,500, yeah, okay.
Yep.
I have that one right there.
So we have a
Anybody
birthday
wants to see
celebration.
it,
Or-
I put Michael's email explanation on the back for us
I threw that in there for
Techie.
fun.
people, I love that, by the way. And then the other one I have is the VMware yearly subscription, which we normally do for 1,100. And there's an explanation on that one too, if anybody wants to see it.
Couple renewals there. A question about logs for email. I sent it over to Jill. It's not too big of a deal, but it's a quick discussion. So we saw, so email security tracks what users click on their emails, links in email and whatnot for security and tracking. We have seen with other clients as well that that's becoming troublesome. So as long as we don't mind not knowing who clicked on what, the security will still be there, we just won't know who clicked on what. So I don't see an issue with that, but just wanted to bring it up if anyone had any questions, and we'll get that turned off, and it'll make the user experience a little bit better with a little less log information. But that's for email security for when people click on links on emails. I think we mentioned this before, the jail and courthouse are looking at video conferencing solutions. We're helping them with that. The sheriff, the sheriff department has an older switch that we're gonna recommend to replace as part of that work. But they should, they're working at having a grant cover that equipment cost. We did some additional work for IDEA, and they turned on the computer that they haven't used in a while, and that brought up the conversation that the veterans computer and the IDA computer are on the renters network, which is pretty much a guest network. But those computers are still on the Iroquois domain on Active Directory. So as we put 2 and 2 together, our recommendation is to remove those from the domain for a little bit of increased security. We haven't talked to the veterans or IDA about that. The only thing they use on the county network is email, and the computers don't need to be on the domain for that. So unless there's any questions or perceived issues with that, we'll have Adam work on that on a Tuesday. So just applying best practices to things as we find them. Under that note, Adam's work on Tuesday has been going great. Everyone loves him, but Recently, due to his workstation and user assistance going down, he's been able to do some cleanup and documentation for the network, which is great. And that's another reason we wanted him to be here on a weekly basis. So he's been able to clean up map drives for Iroquois, group policy, user cleanup, and more documentation. And the next big thing we want him to work on Tuesdays when he has available time is work on restricting each department's network so they can't see everyone else's network. That was one of the things that the cyber navigators mentioned, but that'll take a significant amount of time. I mentioned to Jill if we can maybe throw a couple extra hours on that or be a little creative, because he still does have plenty to do on Tuesdays with other work. So
Yeah, he's been spending the mornings trying to hit all the requests, and then the afternoons doing the back end work.
which has been working real good.
Mm-hmm.
We're still working on the .gov domain. Nothing new to mark on that, but just as a reminder, Iroquois is going to get a .gov domain, and it'll be available for the website to use and Iroquois County employees for their email if they so choose to switch that over, or if the committee chooses for everyone to switch over to the .gov domain. That was everything on my list. Jill, I think we talked about purchasing the things we've talked about for purchasing for next or this fiscal year.
Yeah.
That we're gonna still wait till the beginning of the calendar year to talk about it. Under that note, though, the backup server is one of those things on the 2022 list, and it's given us more and more issues. So that's going to be the first thing that we want to tackle when
If you
it's
wanna send
appropriate.
me the
Pricing.
quote and stuff for that, we can start working on that for sure.
Do we want to hit everything up at a certain time, because we got the backup server, UPS batteries, and then the SAN. So those are the three big ones.
Yeah. If you wanna send me the individual,
We'll send you
Quotes for
all,
those,
then you guys can
and
decide
then they
when you
can
want to
decide
do
which ones they wanna
it. Okay.
move forward with first. I would say that backup server is first on the list.
Yeah, it is.
Cause it has, I've seen the warnings and whatnot that they've been throwing up, so.
One thing I might mention that might be facilitate some of your stuff going forward with this new arrangement is if, like, you noticed today, the finance committee didn't have a long list of things on their agenda, so some of the things that our IT can be scheduled to come in times like that, because like in the summertime when we're working on the budget, that consumes most of the meeting and so forth, so.
Right.
Keeping some of that in mind can maybe even things out over the course of the year and.
That's a great idea. Yep.
I mean, I don't know how much latitude you got, but.
It depends how things go, but definitely projects we can do. We don't want to have discussions about big IT projects while you're doing the financial bulk of the work during the year. So we'll
And
definitely.
part of that also has to do with the fact that if a person's mind is focusing on the budget
Mhm.
and there's something else important there, and it may not get all the attention it deserves,
Yeah, definitely.
so.
Do you see any problem sourcing that equipment?
Yes, equipment's been troublesome, but at this point, we're not in a rush for any of those things we talked about. We just want to get ahead of the game. Speaking of equipment issues, we're still waiting on those switches for the phone upgrade. We put in loaners so that the project can go forward, but certain equipment, just random things. Well, we order one thing and it'll come in a week. We order another thing and it doesn't come in for months and months. So it's really random right now. So
Hey, we got our patch cables.
you did get cables. So we are still seeing that with, equipment orders that, shipping and, just having things in stock is hit and miss, so. So ordering things earlier is definitely better, currently.
Mhm.
So if the backup server is creating problems, we should probably act on that next month.
Yeah.
If we can, just
And it was
to get the
budgeted,
ordering going.
So it's just a matter of Michael sending over my quote for me to sign and get back to him.
Yeah, hopefully. No, it's nice when we can plan ahead for things. No
Mhm.
surprises. All right, that's everything on my talking list.
Okay, any other IT issues?
Yeah, I've been getting I got a message, did anybody else get a message from John Sure that if you hit on it, it says warning, this is not from John Sure? So,
Yeah, I
okay.
have.
He's a
Yeah, no,
troublemaker.
So, well, it works, but that's twice now, so.
You're just not sending me any money though, you probably still get one message.
Okay, is there any old business? New business? Is there a motion for adjournment? One by Michael, seconded by Paul. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned at 9:51.
Started.